So I've been making some lists lately, and here's another one. I really love horror television. I watch tons and tons and tons of it, and I just never feel like it gets enough attention in the horror community, especially some shows. And of course, these are the shows that I'm going to be talking about here. But before I get into the list, I want to talk about the television series that are not on this list that are either really good or fantastic. Just so that you guys understand that, like, I've seen a ton of television horror. Here's a couple things that I just threw off the top of my head when I was writing this list: Walking Dead, Stranger Things, Hannibal. God, please watch Hannibal. Penny Dreadful, Tales from the Crypt, American Horror Story, Haunting of Hill House, Castle Rock, Lock and Key, Bates Motel, Scream Queens. Scream Queens is so fucking funny. Like, I really wish more people would have watched that. It's a shame it only went with 2 seasons. Swamp Thing, which is a really cool show. It only got to go 1 season, which is such a bummer. Slasher, which has 3 seasons now. Hopefully we'll get a fourth. Ash vs. Evil Dead, one of the greatest horror comedies, one of the best horror shows ever on television. Stand Against Evil, which was kind of like an Ash vs. Evil Dead. Supernatural, which I watched about 4 seasons of, and I would love to eventually go back and watch the rest of it. X-Files, of course. The Terror, which is a show I feel like maybe should be on this list because I don't know if enough people are talking about it. But the first season's fantastic. I have not seen the second season, but I would definitely like to, even though a lot of people didn't like it. I don't really care. I still want to check it out for myself. Into the Dark, which the new episode actually came out tonight, and I should be watching it right now, but I don't have the time because I actually got to go back to work tomorrow, which is really weird. It's the first time I've been back to work in 2 months. So it's going to be very interesting to be back in the salon. But Nosferatu, which was a Joe Hill series, and its second season premieres next month, I think June. I really liked the first season. Looking forward to the second season a lot. That's another one that might... I was like, should this be on the list? Like, I don't know. This was a hard list to, like, what is the shows? I just picked the shows that I thought people talked about the least amount, that I thought were really damn good or great. And I was like, Nosferatu, I felt like got like a little bit of attention, and most of the people who watched it didn't really like it all that much, and I think they're crazy. I thought it was really good. The Strain, which I still haven't seen the last season of. The Scream series, which I saw the first 2 seasons, and then the third season I watched like 1 episode or 2, and I hated it so much I fucking could not finish it. But I thought the first 2 seasons were actually really, really good. And then, of course, Masters of Horror, and what is considered Masters of Horror season 3-ish is Fear itself. All right, so those are the ones that, like, you know, off the top of my head that I thought are really good, obvious ones. And then ones I have not seen that I'd really like to have seen is Outcast, Blood Drive, Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, which just started. The What We Do in the Shadows show, I've not watched any of that. From Dusk Till Dawn, Salem. I really want to watch The Mist. I don't care how much everybody hates it. I did watch the first episode, which I liked, but you know, I know people shit on it. Night Flyers, a George R.R. Martin one that a lot of people didn't like, and then the Wolf Creek series. I still haven't watched that. All right, let's get to the list. So we're going to start here with a Canadian anthology series that is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. I saw this a couple years back or more, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. It's called Dark Net, all one word. 6 episodes on Prime. Really fun, creepy stuff. I dug the hell out of it. It's all very serious. One still sticks in my memory forever, and it has to do with the guy across the street in the window peeking out through some blinds. Cool episodes. I really liked that show a lot. And the opening girl in that, if my memory serves me correctly, it's the opening chick in it, was so unbelievably hot. I was like Googling, trying to figure out who the hell it was. For what reason? I don't know, just so I could look her up and see more stuff she was in, but I don't remember finding much. Right, another show that I feel like gets very little attention. I almost never hear anybody talk about it. And I only watch 1 season of the 2. But I thought it was so funny and I don't know why I didn't finish it. And that was Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. It kind of has like Ash versus Evil Dead humor to it, something like that. It's on Shudder, both the Prime version and the regular Shudder, because there's 2 different Shudders, and both seasons are on there. If you like horror comedy shows and you haven't seen it, I think it's a really fun show. I really would like to watch that second season, but I would probably start from the beginning and start it over. Okay, now this was a questionable one. This is where I could have probably changed this out for Nosferatu. Now, I do hear people talk about this show here and there, but I think why I put this on the list is because this was probably the biggest surprise for me when it came out, because I thought it was going to be terrible. Like, I was like, there's no way this is going to be any good. I only saw the first season, not the second one, and that is The Exorcist. I couldn't believe how good the first season was. And it actually surprised me and really got me. Like, I was like, wow, I was really into it. I watched it week to week as it was coming out, and I was like, holy shit. I was like telling everyone. Everyone was like, no way. There's no way it's any good. And I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, it's a really good show. It's crazy. And it's a direct sequel to the original Exorcist. So I highly recommend checking out The Exorcist if for some reason you passed it up thinking it was going to be stupid like I did. Cool show. Just as I said, it's on Hulu. So for anyone who wants to check it out. All right, next up, this is we got a lot of Netflix series on here, a lot of them. So the first one has only 1 season so far, and that is called The Order. Now this one kind of plays, this might not be for everybody. This is like witches versus werewolves, and it kind of reminds me of the tone of like a Supernatural or something. As soon as you say the CW, like people are like, oh God, no, I'm not watching it, even though they're like big fans of, as I said, Supernatural, or there's a bunch of shows that people watch on the CW, and they're like, fucking hate CW. They just associate it with really lame shows that have like political agendas and all this and that. I don't know, man. I think CW makes some pretty fucking fantastic shows. I've seen a lot of great shows on there, so I'm not a CW hater. I'm just comparing it to that tone so you guys understand that it's R-rated. Like, they say the F word a ton and there's some gore and stuff, but for some reason it still kind of has that teeny bopper feel to it a little bit. Not totally. It's like, as I said, Supernatural like kind of rides that line between family friendly and adult. And I feel like that's kind of where The Order sat. Maybe a little more adult, obviously, with the curse words and whatnot. But it just kind of had that feeling to it for me. Next up, this is a show that I just don't feel like anyone's talking about, even though it's a very popular franchise. And that's the Purge television series. Like, when I was reviewing, I've reviewed every episode of both seasons. When I was reviewing it, like, most people who came to watch my reviews, and even when I looked after, they were like, dude, no one reviews this show. No one's watching this show. And I'm like, I went on YouTube and I was Googling it, and I was like, oh my God, really? Like, no one fucking reviews this show. Like, in any place I talk, there's only like 1 or 2 people who are like, yeah, I'm watching it. And then of course people in the comments of my videos are watching it. But for the most part, I never hear anyone talking about this. And I'm going to tell you, man, the first season was pretty good. It didn't get this full scope of what I was hoping it would, but I liked it. And then the second season took a totally different turn, the turn I've always wanted to see in any Purge, and that is the off season of the Purge, the 364 other days of the year. The majority of the season takes place during that time. People kind of putting life back together. People kind of planning for the next one. People, trying to figure out why the people were trying to kill them. People planning bank robberies and stuff for when the Purge comes. Like, so many different things, so many different facilities. I loved the second season. I was so into it. There were, the very last episode was a little anticlimactic in places, but don't give a fuck. Really, really cool. So I don't know. I just don't feel like the Purge gets anywhere near enough attention. Now, the first season is on Hulu and Prime, and then season 2, I think, is on the USA app. If you have like a DirecTV or a Dish or something, you have access to USA. That's how I watched it. Then I don't know if the second season is on there to watch or not. So as of right now, you can only watch season 1 if you have Hulu or Prime, but there you go. All right, now here's a show, another one that some people talk about. But, okay, I see a lot of people talk about Santa Clarita Diet, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's hilarious. I think it's wonderful. I think that freaking Timothy Olyphant and Drew Barrymore's really good in it too. I love her, but Timothy's great, and then the redheaded daughter and her friend, who she's like maybe has an interest in, the dorky neighbor kid. That dorky neighbor kid, I can't even remember what his fucking name is hilarious, and like every delivery of every line. But anyways, I'm not even here to talk about fucking Santa Clarita Diet. Sorry, I got so off track there. But I feel like a lot of people talk about that. But there's another show that kind of has a similar horror comedy, zombie comedy vibe to it, and I think is a superior show, and it's a CW show, iZombie. I know some people that watch it, for sure, and it's a fairly popular show, but I never see anyone talking about it. Regardless, where I hang out in online chat groups and shit, like I never see anybody bring it up. The show is fantastic. It is so funny, and it is so clever, and it is so well written. And let me tell you something: the main girl who plays Liv, I genuinely think she has gives one of the best performances in television, because every episode, if you don't know what the show's about, she works in the morgue, and she starts solving crimes for the cops because she's a zombie, and when she eats people's brains, she can remember some of the things that they remember. That only happens in key moments when something kind of reminds her of those moments, but she also takes on their attributes. So if someone's like a thespian that is really into Shakespeare or something, she'll like be that the whole episode. She'll be like over the top Shakespearean actor. Or if somebody's like a total narcissist, she'll be that. If somebody's a total whatever person's brain she eats, she can take in their memories, but she can also take on their persona. And so every single episode, this chick plays a different character basically, and she nails it every single time. The way she nails every role is incredible, and I just don't feel, maybe that's what it is. Maybe even if the show's popular and people are talking about it, which I just don't see a lot of it, but regardless, I don't give a fuck, because I don't think that Liv, the girl who plays Liv, I know her name, but it's, losing it right now. She just doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for her acting. Like, I think it's phenomenal because it's comedic timing, and it's also like trying to nail different kinds of roles all the time. So, I mean, just kudos to her, and I had to bring it up because I just think it's such a fantastic show. 5 seasons, all on Netflix. Please watch it if you're a big horror comedy fan. If you like Santa Clarita Diet and you haven't seen it, it's fucking fantastic. But CW, watch out. All right, another show. Now, this one, very few people watched, and the people who did watch it, a lot of them hated it. So I might be in the minority here. Don't care. I'm going to bring it up anyways because I thought that this was a super well-paced show. I mean, it was just fucking rush. Like episode to episode, it was like just go. Like it never stopped. It never let up. And that is Black Summer. It's a zombie show. It's supposed to be a spin-off of Z Nation, which I've only seen like the first episode of, and I just thought it was like really low budget, not good. Like I was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna go back and try it again one day because some people love the shit out of it, and I don't see how this is connected because this is very serious. And I just, from moment one, this fucking thing is going, and it just never lets up until the credits roll on the last episode. It is just so fast paced. I was really just drawn in the whole time. I watched the whole thing in one sitting because it was just so easy to go one to the next. And I like ran downstairs and recorded a review in between each episode. I don't do that anymore. That burnt me out so hard. I used to do that with these binge shows where I'd stop each episode, run downstairs, record my take, and then run back upstairs and start uploading it. Fuck all that. But Black Summer, yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I don't know why everyone hates it so much. But there you go. All right. Now, these last 3 shows are some of the best on TV. In fact, the very last one, which I'm saving for the last for a reason, and I'm sure if you know the channel, you know what I'm going for here on that one, but we'll save that. But all right, so the third to last here is the show Kingdom. It's a South Korean show. It's set in the 15th century, and it's a couple warriors, and there's zombies, and it's like this drama with zombies and these like freaking big epic battles with swords and shit. It's phenomenal. It's fucking phenomenal. The production value, the acting, the everything is, it's like Game of Thrones ish. Like that's how it feels at times. I can't speak highly enough about the show. It's just phenomenal, and I never hear anybody talk about Kingdom. But it's South Korean. It is in subtitles, you know, so maybe that's what turns people off to it, but you are doing yourself a huge disservice by not watching Kingdom. It's phenomenal. And South Korea, I mean, do they make bad movies? I mean, seriously, do they make anything bad? I've seen one South Korean thing I didn't like. Everything else I think is phenomenal. They make the best shit. So this is yet another thing, you know. Anyway, all right, now moving over to France. This is another Netflix. Oh, Kingdom's on Netflix. I don't know if I said that, but there you go. This one's on Netflix as well. And that is one season, a French show, and it blew my fucking mind when I watched it last year. It's 2019. I was floored by this show. I thought it was so creepy, so eerie, so fucking well done. There was such tension in it, and that is Marianne. This is just another show. Like, I just can't speak highly enough about. I thought it was like, at the time when I watched it, it was like maybe halfway through the year, I thought it was the best thing horror that 2019 had done, period. You know, there's movies that came out after that I just probably liked a little bit more, but my God, as a television series, incredible. I mean, just terrifying, just very, very unsettling, just kind of straight from the get-go, very eerie, very creepy. You know, I don't want to give anything away. I know I'm not even really setting any of these shows all that much, but I just hope you'll take my word for it. And it's French, so it's, yet again, it's subtitled, but you can dub that one. I don't think you can dub Kingdom. I don't recommend dubbing, but you can do what you want. I know some people can't, you know, they don't like subtitles, whatever, that's fine. You know, do your thing, but at least bare minimum, check out Marianne. It's fantastic. All right, and last, but absolutely not by any means least, because it is my favorite horror show ever. And it's a show that I just don't see talked about anywhere near enough, because it should be talked about, you know, as much and more than American Horror Story, Walking Dead, any of that shit. Not pissing on Walking Dead. I think it's fantastic right now. I think it's fully back to its glory days. This 10th season's been freaking fantastic. So anybody who's off the Walking Dead hate, you know, they hate the fucking show. There's so many people out there and they'll never come back to it. You're missing out, man. It's great again. I don't know what to tell you. But that, of course, is Channel Zero. It's 4 seasons. All of them are on Shudder and Shudder Prime. I've talked about the show enough on here. I've reviewed every episode of the show individually. 6 episodes per season. Each season is written and directed by the same people. So one guy writes and one guy directs one season, and then a different guy and a different guy come in and write and direct another season. So the consistency, the tone, the atmosphere, everything is so fluid. It is so fucking consistent. What a fantastic show. My God, if I can implore you to watch any single thing I've mentioned on this list, and that's including the shit that's popular, the shit that I haven't seen. I don't care. Channel Zero. Make that the priority. Watch freaking Channel Zero. I love it so much. It's an anthology series, so season 1 has nothing to do with season 2 and so on. My order for that show would be season 1, 3, 4, 2. Yeah. Great stuff, guys. Just not enough talk on horror television in general, in my opinion. Like, there's so much great horror on television right now, and there's more to come. And we're getting so many cool things up and coming, and I look forward to all of it. And I look forward to seeing maybe down in the comments like what your favorites are, and maybe something I missed. You know, I know there's like Harper's Island. I need to throw that down in the list. Somebody sent it to me, so I have the entire season. I will actually watch that pretty soon here, because this is my last night in my dad's Airbnb. I got to go back to work tomorrow, so I'm going home. I am getting back to my home, so you'll see my usual setup behind me in probably the next video. But yeah, so shit I haven't mentioned, shit you love. I want to see that in the comments. And if you watch anything from this list, that I definitely want to know about. And if you don't like what I suggested, go fuck yourself. Just kidding. Good night.